All right, so first thing we're going to have to do on number 6, it says our angles are located in the first quadrant, correct? Find the expected value of the first quadrant triangle. So triangles, as in plural, we're going to have to draw triangles for this fraction and this fraction. Both of them have to be in the first quadrant. So let's construct an XY axis, very small, up under number 6. Doesn't have to be anything big. 2 triangles, both in the first quadrant, and now we have to label each triangle. So why can't we just draw one triangle for these? Well, because it's got an X and it's got a Y variable, which means they're completely different. So that's why you have to draw both triangles. All right, ready? Now, you've done this part before. We've got to label each triangle. If cosine, if you look on the board, X is on the top, hypotenuse is on the bottom. You got to put 60 on the x-axis, 61 on the hypotenuse.
How do you know that's for the first triangle?
Well, X, the way I'm going to explain it, so you won't ever forget it, X comes before Y in the alphabet, so the first triangle will always be your X, the second triangle always goes on your Y. All right, how do we find the missing side? And we've done this. Yeah, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So we will do 61 squared minus 60 squared equals, I got 121. Square root of that is 11.
Wait, what did you just say?
61 squared minus 60 squared. Remember, if you have sides A and B, if you have your legs, you add them. If one of your sides is your hypotenuse, you got to subtract. All right, so I want y'all to do the same thing for the second triangle now. Label each side, make sure you get them in the right spot. This is 35 over 37. The formula for sine means 35 goes on my y-axis, 37 goes on my hypotenuse. So 37's got to go there, 35's got to go there. All right, now type it in your calculator. 37 squared minus 35 squared, which is 12. All right, so that's the first thing you're going to have to do on every problem. Construct your triangles and label them, and we've done that. We should be fine on that.
That's not it?
That's not it. All right, does everybody have out your unit circle sheet? Everybody needs one out. Does anybody need a unit circle?
That was it.
Anybody lost their unit circle? All right, flip your unit circle over. We are now going to start using these formulas on the back. Okay? We're looking for the formula that says sine of x minus y. Right in the middle of the page, right column, is our formula for sine of x minus y. It is sine of x cosine of y minus cosine of x and sine of y. Does everybody see where I'm getting that from? Off your paper.
Sum and difference.
Sum and difference formula is right in the middle. Right column says sine of x minus y. Okay? Now, I don't care if y'all write the formula down or not. You've got it on your paper. But what I am going to ask that you write down is this part. All right, so we're going to plug in 4 fractions for each one of these, and then we'll put it in our calculator. Okay, look. In our original problem, it says cosine of x is 60 over 61. I can go ahead and plug that in here, because it's for cosine x.
So come out y over r.
60 over 61. Jalen.
So you said no, no.
All right. Also, Jalen, it's giving us this answer, sine of y. So right here, I can go ahead and plug in 35 over 37. That will save you some time if you'll go ahead and plug in the ones they are giving you. Okay. For these other two, we have to look at our triangles and figure them out. When it says sine of x, which triangle do you look at? X was the first one, y was the second. So we're going to look at the first one. They want you to plug in a fraction for sine. Remember, Sine is when your y-axis is on top and your hypotenuse is on bottom. So what's my fraction going to be if I put y on top, hypotenuse on bottom? Hold on, y-axis goes on top, right? 11 goes on top over 61. So you put 11 over 61 in that spot. Okay, for this spot, it says cosine of y. So it's asking you to look at the second triangle. Cosine is x on top over hypotenuse. So it'd have to be 12 over 37. Okay, remember, I don't care if y'all write that formula down or not. I do want you to write this down though. Now type that in your calculator and you will have your answer.
Will we get a negative?
It's very possible.
-0.87.
Right there. Negative 0.8719. So I'm going to round that off to 4 numbers. Negative 0.8720. I rounded up the 19 on the end of 20 because it had a 5 after. All right. A lot of the times, half the time. All right, number 7. We're going to have to draw our triangles once again in the first quadrant. Every problem, guys, is going to be in the first quadrant. So you can go ahead and start setting up your triangles. They don't have to be anything really big. All right, it says cosine of x is 11 over 61. All right, Jaden, where does 11 go? Where does 61 go?
11 goes on the x-axis,
Very good.
and 61 is the hypotenuse.
So 61 there, 11 there. Isn't this the same numbers we just had on the last problem? We had 61 and 11, right? What was the third number?
60.
60. So you can cheat a little bit on that one. We know it's going to be 60 going up. Or you could do 61 squared minus 11 squared. It's going to give you 60.
So wouldn't it be the same as the other triangle?
You mean the second one?
Yes, we just did that one too.
Yeah. So 12 goes on the y-axis, 37 here. Yes, that's the same one we just did, right? So the third number, it's got to be 35. It's just in a different spot this time, right? All right, so now I need the formula for cosine of x minus y. All right, it's cosine of x, cosine of y, plus sine of x, sine of y. I've had some kids miss this one. They just assumed if it had x minus y here in the problem, then the formula would have a minus in the middle, but actually that formula has a plus in the middle. All right, so you've got to plug in your 4 fractions once again and put it in your calculator. So let's go ahead and plug in the ones they're giving us. They're giving us cosine of x is 11 over 61. You can put that here. All right, they're also giving us the sine of y is 12 over 37. That goes here. We have to find the other 2. All right, so cosine of y means I look at which triangle. It's got a y, so you look at the second one. Cosine is x over your hypotenuse. X is 35 over 37. So this spot's got to be 35 over 37.
You're not supposed to,
Go ahead.
I thought, so you're changing the formula around?
Well, this is a different formula from the last one was sine of x minus y. This time it's cosine of x minus y. So did I copy the formula correctly?
Yep.
So look, gentlemen, I'm just copying it right off this paper. Cosine of x minus y.
I didn't know we were using a different thing.
Yeah, every problem's a different formula. All right, sine of x is 60 over 61. All right, plug that in your calculator, and you should have an answer here. Is this one a decimal or a fraction? You girls who've already got it done, it's a decimal. I got .4896. We'll wait and let everybody finish 7 to check your answers. 47.4896.
Number 8, Alex? Yeah, that's what mine says too.
I got that this morning.
So is it no solution?
Did all that for nothing. So can I just write no solution? Right to say somewhere.
Can I show you work? Y'all be shouting answers. All right, anybody got a question on 7 before we go to 8? Say it again. Yes, everything's in the first quadrant. All right, so we're going to number 8 now. Number 8, I'm going to set up my triangles just like I have on every problem. Let's give y'all a chance to do that.
Is the back the same thing?
Same stuff. So hopefully if I finish number 8, then y'all can do the rest of them on the back, right? If not, I'll keep working on it. All right, so number 8, my sign is y on top over r, so I got 4 over 5. How do we find the missing side? 5 squared minus 4 squared. What'd you get? 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. That one's a 3. All right, other triangle. Tangent is y over x, correct? So I put my 9 here, my 12 here. All right, now look at this one. Don't mess up. Normally we subtract because side C is normally one of our sides. We've got A and B this time. So you do 12 squared plus 9 squared. 15 is the answer. All right, now Lane, once again, let's check to see if they are giving us any of our answers. They don't always give you some of them. They are giving us tangent of y. So I can plug 9 over 12 in here and here in the formula because it's used in both spots. So I'll put 9 over 12 in this spot and in this spot. All right, we still got to find tangent of x. So now look at the first triangle. Tangent is y on top, x on bottom. What's my fraction going to be for y over x? Y-axis on top is 4, x-axis is 3, so I got 4 over 3 there and there. All right, hit your fraction button first when you plug this in. Whoops, I messed up already.
Why do we have to put them on a graph? Why can't we just draw a triangle?
Yeah, I guess you can. That's fine. I guess I only drew the coordinate plane because it said first quadrant.
Yeah, because if it was a third quadrant.
Yeah, your triangle would be
have
faced a
to-
different way. But as long as you know it's in first quadrant, that's fine. All right, and just like everybody else was saying a minute ago, my calculator said you can't divide by 0. That's an error. This is a no solution. Now, I'll never give you another one like this. It's no solution. I'm quite sure that's the only one.